So I wanted to give you a really quick example of how you can use ChatGPT, how I've been using it as sort of an assistant or a creative person, if you will, to bounce something off of. Like, if you think about how we sort of create and write stories today, we might sit in a room with other creative writers and say, hey, I have this idea, or I'm stuck on this one part. Or even like writers might have Facebook forums where they say, hey, you guys, I'm trying to come up with a clever way to say something and I'm not sure how to do it. And so then you kind of sort of round table these ideas, and that's what ultimately gets you to the better version of what you're writing, right? So I was going through and I'm like, oh, I have these phrases of dialogue I want to make better. And so what I tried to do was I actually set up ChatGPT to sort of be my creative entity that I use to bounce ideas off of. And I'm not using it to write new dialogue, but what I'm trying to do is get it to give me more ideas, which then I take back and go, okay, well, what if I did this with that idea? And so here's an example. I asked it, I said, I need you to be my creative word thesaurus. I'm writing a book with a lot of character dialogue, and sometimes I need a different way to say something clever. I'll give you a setup scene and then tell you a sentence and either tell you what word I need an alternate for or a different way to say the sentence as a whole. So I'm basically setting up the prompts and the way I'm going to use this particular instance of ChatGPT. And it's really important your setup and your prompts. If those aren't right, then you're not going to get back what you want. So obviously it says, of course, it's very friendly. It's going to, please provide me with the scene and the sentence and it'll help me. So I set it up first with saying, there's a common phrase, I'm a lover, not a fighter. One of my teenage characters needs to say this after he explains that he went to the library to kiss a girl, not read books. So I want a variation of this phrase, but to replace the fighter part with something that indicates he's not a studious person, right? So if we look at the prompts it gave me back, it said, well, okay, I get the context. Here's some variations. I'm a lover, not a learner. I'm here for kisses, not quizzes. I'm more Romeo than Einstein. And so when you look at these now, look, not all of these are very, very intellectually funny, or they're not really that smart or even well written. But I love that it gives me a place to start with. So take, for example, I liked I'm a lover, not a learner, right? Like that's kind of clever and kind of funny. And so I said, okay, cool. Suppose I use that, I'm a lover, not a learner, and I want one of the other really smart teens to respond with something very clever, but also incredibly highbrow and intellectually smart, in humor, making fun of the fact that his pursuit of love only makes him dumber. And then I said, okay, I need it to be short and punchy. So it gave me something back that was okay. And I said, all right, that's not really what I'm looking for. So I said, okay, give me a few more. But I want to use one that is a historical reference about an empire falling due to chasing love, right? Like I thought, okay, this character is so smart, they might actually reference something from history. And so it said, of course, here's a few more options. And it gave me some more options, but the one I really loved was some chase wisdom, others, like you, chase fleeting moments, just ask Troy. And I thought that's really clever, and there's probably a way that I can play with that. Or they talk about losing Rome for Cleopatra's embrace. Like there's something there. And then that got me thinking on a whole way that I could have a retort that was actually really funny and kind of witty, but also very intellectual. So a lot of people, like, I feel like knock AI and how, oh, you can't use ChatGPT and it's taking away writers' ability to write. It's not. Like ChatGPT honestly is like having a room full of creative people that you can throw ideas at, and they can give you ideas back. Now, they're not going to be perfect, so you still have to write and you have to be good at writing, but it is honestly the best support tool you could possibly use when you don't have access to a room full of creatives that you can bounce ideas off of.